Welcome to 49ers Coast to Coast. We're your hosts, Grant Cohn and Jason Aponte. And we want to talk about this rumor that's going along with Sam Darnold and stuff. But first, we have a really important PSA. Seen a lot of criticism and people talking out of the side of their neck about Justin Fields. Jason, I won't stand for it. And I don't know if you can plan on coming to my show and saying something a little about don't freaking do it. All right. I don't want anyone to say anything bad about him.
Listen to me. You say something bad about Justin Fields, you get blocked. Okay,
you're out of here.
Out of here.
You're not 3 strikes. Out of here.
It's not 3 strikes. It's one.
One strike.
Honestly, it's just funny, right? Because here's what's the joke about it. I'm pro Fields, right? But I'm not dismissing anybody else's, takes or their observations or anything like that. So, like, if you feel that Max the pick, cool, man. Like, it's not just because I'm pro Fields doesn't mean that and like people really do get into a tizzy when you say anything bad about Justin Fields. It's incredible, man. I'm not one of those people though, because I'm not correct. I'm just voicing an opinion.
The Justin Fields argument is larger than life. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think it's amusing because you really shouldn't just be able to talk about a player's strengths and weaknesses, but and I get it. I mean, some people pile on him too much for the wrong reasons. So other people are trying to fight fire with fire, and now it's gotten into something huge. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to troll.
You woke up yesterday and you chose violence, man. Honestly, if people from the outside in didn't know who you and I were, they'd be like, man, these guys they hate each other.
No, this is actually how they abuse each other.
This is how we have fun.
So I am so sick and tired of people talking bad about Justin Fields. I'm not going to stand for it. We're only going to say positive things about him today because the other day I was so upset when I saw what Chris Mortensen said. I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 4 a.m. and tweeted about it. I was just so mad. And I just don't want to. Yes. So I just want to say only positive things about Justin Fields. We can go in on everyone else. All right. All right. So the first thing is this really weird report that came out yesterday that the Niners offered the 12th pick for Sam Darnold and the Jets turned him down. And then this was because they had questions about Zach Wilson's shoulder at the time. But then they saw Zach Wilson's shoulder and they didn't have questions. And then the Niners traded up, and then the Jets traded Darnold for a second instead of the first thing. So anyway, people say it's not true. What are you hearing about this?
I mean, honestly, so the tweet comes across and it says first round. Doesn't necessarily mean this one, but I mean, even if it's a 2022 or 2023, how do you turn down a first when you were looking for that? If the 49ers offered that. Right. If they offered 12 and you said no, that's absolute lunacy. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe one word of that. The second part, though, is interesting. What you said about the Zach Wilson shoulder thing, because there have been rumblings, and I have heard that they need to see a physical first before the Jets are all in on him. That was basically the only thing slowing them down from any sort of Zach Wilson movement. These are things that we've heard.
Makes sense.
I mean, yeah.
Wouldn't you want to see a physical on a dude who's had shoulder surgery?
And really didn't take many hits last year, so you don't really know how he's going to bounce back from it. One bad hit might be, the wrong thing. It's good. Do your due diligence. As far as the Darnold, if they offered 12 and the Jets said no, they're dumb. I just don't think they did. And if they offered them a 2022 or a 2023 first round, how could you say no to that? To give him away for a second and a sixth or something like that? It doesn't line up. None of that lines up with what whoever this report came from. So I don't believe it at all.
Yeah, me neither. The only thing I could think was like, was that like the Niners would trade 12 to the Jets for Darnold in 23, like some type of pick swap, but that's not what they said. And the fact that Dov Kleiman came out today and said it's just a false report it's not true. That makes sense to me. It doesn't seem like it carries water.
It didn't sound correct when you hear it, because when you hear first rounder, nobody in their right mind would have given Sam Darnold a first rounder, let alone the 49ers who had 12, if it was that, or even if it's let's just say we assume next season the 49ers are picking in the low 20s. Even then, how could you say no to that if you're the Jets? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up with the Jets are looking for a first rounder. The 49ers offered a first rounder, but they declined.
Yeah. And why would anyone offer the 12th pick for Sam Darnold? He's not worth that. It seems like when the Niners traded up, is it possible that the Panthers feel like the Niners are going to take whoever they wanted and that's why they did this?
Perfect segue, because that's exactly what I was going to say. The 49ers wrecked everybody's plans by moving to 3. And
Definitely Carolina's.
Carolina just said, all right, screw it. Let's just go get Sam Darnold at this point. We're out. So that should be your first hint that they have
Phillies as well, right? Because Philly was right there, and then they moved back. 2 teams. One team moved back. One team got a different quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what Atlanta plans to do.
once 3 happened, everybody's plans went to hell. And that's when
Yes.
you have to scramble and you're just like, all right, let's go get Sam. And now Carolina's effectively taking themselves out of the quarterback conversation because they've already picked up Sam Darnold's 5th-year option. So you've got 2 straight years of Sam Darnold over there. And then maybe they'll try to figure out the quarterback situation afterwards if he doesn't pan out. So they're out this year on the quarterback. They're absolutely out.
Wonder what that means anyway. I still don't know who any of these teams are targeting. It's such a good mystery. So now apparently Justin Fields is the odds-on favorite to go to the 49ers.
Mhm.
It was Mac Jones pretty much from the moment the trade happened through his pro day until today. Now, what happened recently? Justin Fields had a pro day.
But and you know what else too? I'm not going to believe things unless it fits my narrative, Grant. That's absolutely
exactly how I operate.
Say something against what I like, and it's bullcrap. Say something about what I want, and it's absolute truth. No, honestly, you're absolutely right. The pro day is exactly that, and anybody who's telling you right now that there's a lot of buzz around that is not getting that from the building. They're not. I guarantee you that, and that's just based on a pro day. And when one social media analyst or NFL analyst says something like that, it's going to send the Vegas stocks to so it's weird. He'll be the number 1, odds on favorite. I believe he's the pick, but that doesn't make him the pick. Like, do you guys understand the difference? It's them speculating still. Just because they're speculating on the guy that I want them to take at 3 doesn't change the fact that it's speculation, and it still is. So it doesn't mean that it's a lock. It's just what I believe. It's not a lock, but again, people are going to take it as, okay, I want Justin Fields, so this is validation. The confirmation bias is insane. I've been doing it on Twitter on purpose to just get people all riled up. Yeah. When you talk good about Justin Fields a lot, people get upset, and I love it. I think it's so funny to me, honestly. People hate it.
Either way, if you talk good about him, if you talk bad about him, and people, it's amazing. It's almost like the Colin Kaepernick thing all over again. It's the closest thing I've seen to it.
A little bit. I mean,
it's the third rail of life. You judge it. You better be careful, man.
Don't get back in that bag. No, but honestly, it's funny to me because people are, I've been out with my stance for a while, so it's not a surprise to you or anything like that. But again, it's not me speculating on something I know. I'm just speculating, that's it. So again, that's what they're doing right now. So just because he's become the odds-on favorite doesn't make him the pick. And it doesn't mean that anybody knows anything either. Even though I'm down with Justin Fields, I can admit that. I can admit that wholeheartedly.
And just all this tells me is that there's a lot of people putting money on the Niners taking Justin Fields right now. So if a lot of bets are coming in, then the odds are going to change. That's all it really does. So these bookmakers can protect themselves, basically.
Prediction.
Yeah.
After Trey Lance's pro day.
Thank you.
Buzz on Trey Lance. Trey Lance would be the odds on number 3.
Here's going to be the narrative. Well, the Niners hadn't actually seen him in person yet. When he had his first day, they were trying to be, and now they finally, and they were just blown away. Hadn't seen him since he was 19. And it's like, oh, that's what's definitely going to happen. And then who knows if it's true or not, but someone's going to say it. And then all of a sudden the odds are going to change again. Got to remember, this is all like media and bettors driving this stuff. It's great. People making a lot of money. Yeah,
clicks and content, man. I mean, honestly, everybody kills us for trying to come up with content any way that we can. Your favorite media analyst is dying for content and trying to get that as well too. So just keep that same energy. Speaking of such, why do you feel like all these national writers are switching their narratives all of a sudden? Because they're starting to realize that they don't know anything. So all of this Mac Jones business was just based off the idea that everybody swears that Kyle Shanahan's favorite quarterback is a Kirk Cousins style. And once Mac was comped to Kirk Cousins, that's the pick immediately. No, you're speculating. So that's it, right? So you speculate and you put in your little hedge bets, your words to hedge your, parse your words, hedge your bets. I see that all the time. But now that it's getting closer and now things are starting to, take shape, so here's the points that you got to look at with the pro days. Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Kyle Shanahan didn't ask Mac Jones to run any of his concepts in the pro day. He just went to go watch him. Right. Justin Fields ran 9 things that Kyle Shanahan wanted to see yesterday, and from all accounts, he nailed it. Yeah. Same thing with Trey Lance. You're really gonna sit there and look me in the face and say that Mac Jones is the pick when they're not paying him attention like that? Yeah. So my thing is that they're basing it off of their speculation and their fit, trying to sound smart ahead of time. Yeah. And now that info's starting to come in and trickle in a little bit more, and you're starting to put the pieces together. Now it's, well, I believe it's Mac, but we don't know who the pick is, and it's just like it's like pounding your head on the wall because it's so annoying and it's something that we've been saying for so long. Yeah. No one knows. And for anybody, like, again, if you want Mac, all those 3 weeks that they were saying it, that's your confirmation bias. Now you have to be scared now, right? Because nobody's talking about that anymore. That Mac Jones stuff came and went, and now the people that are peddling it with a hedged bet now about, well, nobody really knows the pick. I just believe it's Mac. Oh, now you just believe it's Mac. But you were saying that sources were telling you there are no sources. You don't know. No one knows. That's it.
Yeah, no one knows. It's a total guess game. It seemed like it made sense at first that the Niners would go for Mac Jones. But I think, like, as you think this out, like, maybe they even floated, maybe they wanted to take Mac Jones. But it's so clear how unpopular this move would be. I mean, the results are in. It's like a 20% approval rating right now.
Yeah.
And it's not good. And they know that. And I feel like Kyle has to look at it and be like, look, none of us really know with these quarterbacks. I feel strongly that it's Mac Jones, maybe. But say I'm wrong. Will my reputation ever recover? Ever.
Here's the thing.
I don't know. It's dangerous, man.
Here's the thing, Grant. You and I get something wrong, everybody's going to hit you with this you.
Yeah.
Adam Schefter, Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, any of those guys, don't bat an eye at it. Even though they've been backpedaling all week. Mel Kiper went from, I don't understand everybody with Justin Fields, blah, 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 gives his passionate speech. His mock comes out as Mac. It's just, I'm tired of listening to people who constantly get it wrong. Look, no disrespect to those media members because they're pillars of the community and they've done more than maybe I'll ever do in my entire life. But you can't ignore the whiffs, the absolute whiffs. Mel Kiper's last mock draft from last year, I think he missed on 22 of 25 picks. Is this your king? Is this the guy that you're looking to, like, for your advice?
Kiper?
Yeah, Kiper. Yeah, like, these guys are caricatures of themselves at this point. Right now, and right now, do you want to say what you want about content creators? Basically, they're content creators who are on a national platform, and they're trying their best to gain clicks and stuff as well, guys.
Yes. All right. Let's not talk about Mac Jones for a minute. Let's say, and also we agreed not to say anything negative about Justin Fields. So let's go to someone else who we can
say something negative about Justin Fields, and I'm not coming back, Grant.
Hold on, Money Toward Grant Cohn Computer Fund, all the way from Brussels. Thanks you, man. Thank you. Thanks for keeping us sane and occupied during the offseason, Grant. Lifetime Niner fan since the 80s and on the Trey Lance train. Well, that's a good segue. Appreciate you so much. All the way from Brussels. It's late over there. I thank you very much. That's nice. All right. So we all know that Justin Fields is stunning and brave and a wonderful quarterback.
And also an amazing dancer.
An amazing dancer and just an all-around great guy. But what about this Trey Lance character? I mean, he's kind of a dark horse. People don't really know much about him. He played in North Dakota State. He played one season. There's like 6 pictures of him in this photo database that I use for Sports Illustrated. I keep recycling them. It's like they must not have known that he was going to be good. Would it surprise you if the big surprise on draft, because the Niners always move in silence, no one really ever predicts their moves, if the big surprise they have up their sleeve is Trey Lance at number 3?
Here's something that's interesting. I love Trey Lance. I've been on your program saying the same thing, as well. Here's interesting thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Trey Lance is the pick at 3, if Justin Fields is the pick at 2.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Okay. No, I'm with you. Tell me. Yeah.
So I don't believe that the pick at 2. I think the pick at 2 is pretty much written in Sharpie at this point. Is Zach Wilson.
Okay.
But
that's what everyone's telling me.
Right. Yeah. Let's just say, because we don't know anything, let's just say the NFL draft comes and Justin Fields is the pick at 2. Yeah. Well, for me, that kind of feels like, well, my consolation prize is Zach Wilson. Great. I don't think that the 49ers think like that.
Okay.
I don't think they do. So let's just say Fields goes 2. I think the pick becomes Trey Lance at 3.
Okay.
And not because of the pro day or anything like that. Like I said, with how they're implementing a lot of Shanahan things in there, so they can watch him do that, and it's closed off to the media, so it's not we'll get it secondhand. I just think that when you're talking about the way that they view Lance, from what I believe, with the way that they view Lance, I don't know if Zach Wilson was ever really that high on their board. I know 49er fans like him, even though, look, again, if I had to pick and Justin Fields went second, it's Zach Wilson. I'm running the card.
Yeah.
I'm running it up to get Zach Wilson. I'm just telling you, I don't know if the 49ers believe that. And I would not be surprised if Justin Fields went 2, Trey Lance was 3. Now, Zach Wilson goes 2, it's Justin Fields, and it's not Trey Lance. I doubt it. I completely doubt that.
Okay.
So,
and what could push Zach Wilson down in the Jets' mind, or particularly in the Niners' mind?
I don't know if it's going to put. Yeah, well, I mean, it might be the shoulder, but maybe the Jets are just maybe the Jets are just enamored with Justin Fields. Maybe they just
seems like a lot of people are.
Right, but it has nothing to do with the pro day. Like, again, the pro day shouldn't have swung you one way or the other. I just like posting clips because people get upset. I think it's hilarious. But
all I know is that Zach Wilson has a surgically repaired shoulder. Justin Fields doesn't. Justin Fields had like 2 bad games against Northwestern Indiana. Zach Wilson had like 2 bad years where he was nobody. And all of a sudden he becomes Superman. Like, you could definitely justify taking Justin Fields number 2. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I can, I don't want to see it, but it could happen, and okay. There is a world where that happens. Let's just talk through the hypothetical. So, like, that's the thing. If he goes at 2, then I think Lance is the pick at 3.
So let's talk about why the Niners might like Lance. I mean, what things about Lance do you think would appeal to Kyle and his dad in particular?
Well, the smarts, right? The pre-snap.
I think that's really important. I think when we see whatever the Wonderlicks are, that's going to be important. Whoever's up high, because whatever Jimmy was, it was pretty high. Apparently wasn't enough. So I think they're going to want someone who's really gifted mentally.
I think it's more about, again, the pro style offense, and he was allowed to make pro reads. He was allowed to pre-snap reads, look around and make sure he made those reads and those checks, and he did those things again. Yes. And then when we talk about the concepts that are there, the leak throws and the RPOs and the bootlegs, all that stuff lines right up. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's you want to point to competition, sure, and that's a valid concern for sure. You want to point to how many throws he's had, sure, valid concern for sure. Yeah. But you can't deny what you see when he does throw the ball. You can see that ceiling. So I mean, I just think that the Josh Allen, Trey Lance comps is getting a little lazy and out of control now. But
Cam Newton's fair. Cam Newton's a fair comp.
That's all right. But the thing is when I listen to Kyle talk about Josh Allen and you hear him talk about, big, fast, strong and all that stuff, kind of feels like he's talking about Trey Lance as well too. So I just think that overall he's kind of changed the way that he's looking at it. So again, the only way the pick is 3 for me with Lance is if Fields goes 2, which I don't foresee. So this is a nice hypothetical to talk through, but this should just let you know that I think it's Fields or Lance at 3.
Fair. And one of the things that I like about Lance's fit with the 49ers is I think he can shorten his throwing stroke, and he's good at the little dump off screens, which you take for granted as like the easy stuff. But I kind of think about it in terms of like golf shots. Like that's the putting of playing quarterback, and he's good at that. Justin Fields, I think, he's great with the longer shots. His accuracy down the field is better than Lance's. Mm-hmm. Better than Lance's.
And if you give Fields time, he'll pick you apart.
No doubt.
He will. He definitely will go through his reads and do it.
No question. But a big part of the Niners offense is screens, quick throws, screens, dumps, all that stuff. And Lance really is good at that. Also, he's very comfortable with the play action, which actually Fields seems as well. So I could see the Niners looking at Lance and saying, he actually does fit our offense. He's a developmental guy, and sometimes it's hard to develop quarterbacks in this league, but we do have a mandate from Jed. He's in on it. He's given us extensions. He said we have time. Jimmy's still here. You could sell it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you can. And again, I'll be fine. Look, I'm fine with any of the 4. If Trevor Lawrence was there, whatever, I'm fine with any of those guys. I really am. So, like, again, just because I'm pro Fields doesn't mean that I'm like pro Fields and nobody else. It's just about where the draft board is going to lie. And I believe Zach Wilson's going to go 2. Pretty much feels like it's very close to being a done deal. And then, Justin Fields would be my pick at 3, but, let's see. We're going to have to wait for draft day to find out.
It sounds like it's close to being a done deal in New York, but it's not. And they're waiting on one thing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Yeah.
I agree.
Yanni Vander Balen says, if we can somehow bundle Jimmy G and Armstead for a late first or early second, would our choice at number 3 overall change?
Don't think so. I mean, because they moved up to 3. They moved up to 3 with somebody in mind already. I don't think that would. I mean, Jimmy and Armstead.
They're supposed to, right? If you mortgage the future, it's not for like a poo-poo platter of things you might like. It's for a target, right?
Yeah, like you realize that you can get whoever you can get at that spot, and I think that's it, really.
That's it. Thanks for the question, though. Good question.
Absolutely.
Holger Bitter says, my theory for Trey Lance, look at the quarterbacks that 49ers got, all replacements for Jimmy. Keep him 1 year with the backups and let Lance learn and get used to the NFL, but has Kyle the guts to make that move? Well, as we said, I mean, he's got some rope from ownership.
Mm-hmm.
But
Kyle doesn't have
but Kyle
doesn't have the guts to make that move if Fields is on the board. That's the way I look at it for me.
It's hard to take Lance over Fields, right? It's hard to justify that one.
If Fields is the pick, then he's starting week 1, in my opinion.
Yes. And Lance isn't.
Nope. And look, I love Trey Lance. And, I think there would be some sort of success, but I would love to see him sit 1 year. I really would.
Even the people who are most optimistic and enthusiastic about Trey Lance say, yeah, he's probably not ready right now.
I was ready to have him be out there week 1 until I started, observing a little bit more, watching more. And I was just like, yeah, you know what? Perfect world would be 1 year of him sitting and learning the system.
And I guess like inserting him into games, into specific situations to get his feet wet. He needs some game. Exactly. Salasafati says, according to Mark Sanchez, who refers to Dr. Goldman, sports psychologist, claims that Fields has the highest learning efficiency in the class by a lot. That's very good information.
Highest ever, 130. For reference, Patrick Mahomes, 108. Josh Allen, 100.
Oh, wow. I wonder if this is a better test than the Wonderlic. Because the Wonderlic what is the Wonderlic?
Yeah, no, I don't know either. It's about addition and stuff like that. Like it's really simple stuff. It really is, honestly, like when you look at it. But I think me neither. We can though if you want. We should do that one day for a show. Just take the Wonderlic and see what we get. All right. But the sports psychology that he runs is more correlated to can he learn playbooks? And can he and I think once you get into that 100 range means that you can pick up playbooks faster than other people can. And I think that's really what was the point and the context of what Mark Sanchez said on Pat McAfee's show.
Well, that's important for the Niners because it's just a barrage of words for the
verbiage
for the quarterback, right? It's just, and when they say verbiage, it's like literally learning a new language, and it's a ton. It's a big textbook. CJ says, "Is Kyle a McDonald's or Five Guys type of guy? If he likes Cousins, he might take the dollar menu over Five Guys. Who would take the dollar menu over Five Guys?
I would if I was broke.
That's true. I guess so. I mean, that's true. If I was in college." Here's what I did in college. Let me tell you, I don't know if you ever did this, but I was all about the dollar menu at Jack in the Box. So what I would do is I would go and I would get the dollar hamburger, but I would say, please let me get the sourdough bun. So it would feel like a sourdough Jack for $1. And then you would also get the jalapeno poppers.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. All right. So me being from Jersey and also never have gone to college.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jack in the Box is. You know like when I see the commercial, I'm like, where is that? Like, why do they show that here?
That's funny.
I would love to try it, but it's not over here.
It's Jack in the Box is hella funny. It's like it has everything. It's like, what do you want? What do you want? Tacos? We got that. What do you want? You want egg rolls? We got that. It's like, thank you, love you. They're the best, dude. And definitely the sourdough Jack is one of the all-time great.
Well, now I know if I ever get out to Cali.
Absolutely. All right. Did we get you already? Yeah, we got you already. Holding on. A couple more. CJ got you. We just got two $10 ones. Maitland Eagle says, what separates the great golfers from the good ones is their long iron accuracy, not putting. Fields has the ability to threaten defenses and keep them honest. His close accuracy will improve. Hey, man, you get into golf. I couldn't argue with you on that one.
No, honestly, and I just wrote an article on 49ers Goldmine about 3 passing concepts that are run by Kyle that, Justin Fields would thrive in. And one of them, was the leak, which is something that, nobody was really hitting last year. Yeah. But I pointed out, the vertical concept, which the 49ers only ran 15 times in 2019. How much of that has to do with game flow, personnel? I think it has a lot to do with both, and another factor of, just the way that the roster's built. But 15 times in 2019, and the largest gain was 21 yards. Justin Fields can hit those throws, that Jimmy hit in 2019, for those big gains, and then those closer throws. So I highlighted another concept. It's a 3-man stick concept where basically the outside receiver from the wide side is going to be just your safety valve, and that's in every single concept that there's always a safety valve. So the close accuracy thing doesn't really have to improve. He just has to be able to know where the throw is and get it out on time. So I mean, I'm good with that, and that's why I'm not worried about. Not that I'm not worried, but I think that he can play week 1 is because Kyle Shanahan gives you all those throws. He just got to be able to see them. That'll be the issue.
Jamma Jaws Ashley Fat Forshey. I don't know, man. Jamajaw says, I hope not, but if everything goes bad and Lynch and Kyle get fired, we should go after Louis Riddick and Mike Tomlin as the new leaders to lead the Niners.
What do you mean? They'll just go right back. They're gonna go get Jim Tom Sula or Chip Kelly and get this
Harbaugh.
They're
gonna make amends with Jim Harbaugh.
They bring Harbaugh back, man, and I'm just gonna be like, this is gonna be an absolute disaster. I mean, not because he's a bad coach. God, no, please,
no.
Jeep Christ.
What if they bring back Colin Kaepernick? Wouldn't that be so interesting? No, it's not gonna happen. Pigs would fly. Tony Nagatani. I know you, Tony. How you doing, Tony? Good to see you, Tony. He says 4 Jack in the Box tacos. 2 each for grand. I'm telling you, what you do is I forgot. So you get 2 tacos for $1. That's one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Then you get the junior cheeseburger with the sourdough. They just do that for you out of the kindness of their heart. That's $2. Then you get the jalapeno poppers. That's $3. That'll hold you down. $3.
Man,
people are still sending us money. I'm trying to get back to the show, but people are really generous today. I think it's your shirt.
Oh, thanks. I found this in the back of the closet, actually. I need to buy more button downs, honestly.
It's a really nice shirt. Jason says, love both you guys. Keep up the pessimistic view, Grant. Love it. Hey, Jason, thank you.
But you have to be like that. There has to be yin and yang. We can't get on here and just, agree the entire time. That's boring.
I love this one here. Golf casuals thinking short game doesn't cut your strokes. Hilarious. I don't even know. I am a golf casual.
Get owned, golfer.
Yeah. John 25 says Fields and Wilson are not that much more pro ready than Lance. That's true. I mean, they're all at a deficit. All of Lance snaps were in a pro style offense. He literally had a perfect season and refined his skills this offseason. Dude's ready. You had me into those last 2 words. Dude's ready.
I'm not against Trey Lance. I love Trey Lance. It's just my preference to have Fields. I would be fine with Trey Lance. You know the pick that I don't want at 3. That's the one that don't make any sense.
Yeah, Kyle Trask.
Oh, yeah, Kyle Trask.
Look, I mean, I do feel like there's a possibility that on certain teams Trey Lance could play right away, but it should be like a team like Buffalo in 2018, a team has a new coach that doesn't really care to win right away.
And their roster isn't deep, right? And they don't have all these expectations and things like that.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Josh Allen was. So again, talent and situation, they matter. That matters, the situation. That really matters. Okay, so here's the thing with the 49ers.
Way more than we want to say. Yeah.
Right. And whoever the 49ers end up drafting, if he starts week 1, that's not the same thing as Josh Allen playing for Buffalo. It's not the same thing as Peyton Manning playing for the Colts. Those were generally very bad teams. The 49ers are not a bad team. So that's why if he steps in, he's going to be surrounded by some sort of, support that all these other people weren't. And that's the thing. It's not the 49ers aren't at 3 because they won 2 games. The 49ers are at 3 because they moved up. And they're not a 6-7 win team when everything is right.
That's true. Alex says Fields had a scholarship offer from Harvard.
He did.
Good
he did.
Trey Lance also supposed to be quite bright as well. I don't know about Zach Wilson and Mac Jones. People say Mac Jones is like a smart football player, which I guess is all that really matters.
That's all that matters.
You don't have to be a genius. If you just have football IQ and it shows it, it's all that matters.
Absolutely.
And it seems like these guys have it. Eric Dane says, what's this? I don't know. What's more important at 43? A wide receiver in case Debo gets hurt or a cornerback in case Ferret gets hurt? I don't know. That's a good question.
That is a good question. Who would be on the board at 43, right? Caleb Farley will be gone. J.C. Horn is going to be gone. Patrick Surtain is going to be gone. At 43, you're probably going to wind up with a wide receiver if it's down to those 2, because I think you can probably get a corner later on. So you can probably get yourself a premium wide receiver, Elijah Moore, Rondell Moore. Maybe
Elijah Moore seems exactly like the kind of guy the Niners would get. Slot guy who's got the speed to play outside, but he could fit in right now. It's in the slot. Elijah Moore.
Is there some way that we can push down Rashad Bateman's stock and have him fall to 43? Because I'd love that. Absolutely love that.
Okay. It could be him too. All right. Let's get back to our regular schedule. All right.
Yeah.
That was a lot of happiness. Now let's get back to some
serious
stuff. How will you feel if the 49ers draft Mac Jones? Because I feel like right now it's like you're telling yourself it's just not going to happen. And if it is true, I mean, would it be like depressing? Would you look at Kyle differently? Would you be angry, frustrated? Where would your emotion be?
So let me tell you what I'm setting myself up for.
Okay.
And this is something that I've learned from my parents. Expect the worst. Can't be as bad as that.
Okay.
So I'm expecting the worst. Okay. Just so when I'm on my live draft show in Cleveland, nobody's gonna see me have a meltdown. I've played through this scenario in my head. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'll just go through the stages of grief. Yeah. What did you do that for? Why? Okay, I trust Kyle. Okay, let's ride. That's it. Again, it's not my decision. And again, I'm not tied to it emotionally where it'll destroy me, as many people think. I'm going to be just fine. Guess what? My daughter's still going to be yelling from the other room that she wants milk and stuff like that. And it's not going to change if Justin Fields is picked. I got things to do. My life will continue. I promise you. But I will go through the stages of grief. I will. And then I will talk myself into it, just like every other 49er fan will. And if anybody tells you that they don't, they're lying. They are lying.
I agree. What's I think is I'm really looking forward to is how quickly you and 49er fans will go through it. I mean, it'll be speed record. It'll be 5 minutes. It'll be what is it? It's denial, anger, depression, bargaining,
and acceptance.
Acceptance. Yeah, it'll be 5 minutes. And then they'll be like, you know what? That's our guy. Let's ride with him.
By the time I get to my 10th or 12th drink in Cleveland, I'll be fine with that. I'll be like, man, we just drafted Tom Brady, bro. Like everybody's telling me, Brady's back, man. We're good. I'll get to that point. I just got to be drunk to say it.
I got to say, the funny thing about him, the better comp for him, if we're going to compare him to all-time greats, is Joe. Because he's a little bit smaller than Brady. He moves better than Brady. He's faster than Brady. I'm just saying, as long as we're comparing him to the two greatest quarterbacks of all time, he's a little bit like the other great quarterback than the new. I'm just saying.
Can we acknowledge that Brady comp is really like irking my soul because Brady is different? That's the worst comp in the world. If you think Mac Jones is Tom Brady, God help you, man. Really, God help you.
The thing that people forget about Brady or don't acknowledge is that he has a freaking cannon. Always has a cannon. Stronger arm than Peyton Manning.
At 43, 44, he has a better arm than Mac Jones. Debate a wall about it also.
Oh, no. Yeah, like Mac Jones, like the question is like, does he have a stronger arm than Jimmy? That's the question. Not Tom Brady has a cannon. All right, couple more things we had coming in. Luis says, come on down to Mexico, and I'll show you guys what real tacos look like. Hey, man, I will definitely hit you up. That sounds fantastic. Hold on. Last one. Sunshine Good. Yes, it is. Says, is Jimmy G really going to stay on the team that doesn't want him? Is there any buzz of Don Yee getting him out of Santa Clara going to be awkward pressers? All right, that was one of our topics. Let's do it. What team will Jimmy Garoppolo finish 2021 with? We can answer his question. We can answer his question first and then answer that question later.
If I'm Jimmy Garoppolo and I'm seeing all this, I'm already requesting a trade.
Privately.
One, you get to keep your money. And two, you get to get away from this situation where clearly they don't want you here anymore.
You don't need me. Yeah, you don't need me, man. Move on. Let me get out of here. Yeah.
And it's business. So it's like a bad relationship, right? It's like a bad relationship, right? When you and your significant other, you look each other in the eye and you say, you know what? This isn't working. We need to split. This is mutual. Like you need to make a decision, rip the Band-Aid off and go somewhere where you have a chance to flourish, man. Like look, another thing is that people get me confused as a Jimmy hater. I want Jimmy to do well. It's just when I say that he's not going to be here, it's not because I don't want him here. It's just because what has everybody been talking about? What is everyone's actions shown you? And that's it. It really has nothing to do with feelings. People swear this is personal. I want Jimmy Garoppolo to go somewhere and ball out, whether that's New England, Chicago. Washington is the team that I start to think about, honestly, more than anything. Washington is the team that I think about, and I think it happens closer to draft day. Denver, don't sleep on them either. Denver is a team that if somehow the draft board shakes out weird, and maybe maybe that scenario that we just talked about, Zach Wilson's out there at 4, it will be an absolute dogfight between Denver and New England trying to get to 4 to get Zach Wilson. So we have to wait for draft day to see where this is all playing out. So New England, Denver, Washington, maybe Chicago. I doubt it. It sounds like they're really going to run with Andy Dalton, honestly, at this point. So those are the 3 teams, but I just don't know who it could be. And I have to see the draft board shake out before I get a better idea of where he would land.
Hey, if the Niners traded up for Mac Jones, maybe the Bears are the smart team this offseason. I mean, I had Vish telling me that his comparison for Mac, and he likes Mac Jones. Vish likes Mac Jones. He's like, yeah, he really reminds me of Andy Dalton. I was like, well, there you go. Great. A+ trade. But I hear what Vish is saying on that one. Santiago says, Grant, you should take credit for the trade up. You called it after the Fields game versus Clemson. Did I? I say a lot of things, but I'm going to definitely take credit for that one. Definitely.
Definitely.
Yep. One more real quick. Thomas says, trying to trade up to 6 points to Jones or Lance as the whoa. Fields and Wilson are off the table at 6. Kyle went to BYU to go to the Jets into Wilson. Oh.
I like it. Where's my tinfoil hat?
Oh. See, I feel like if you are like from Robert Saleh's perspective, it must be so nerve-wracking to have Kyle right behind you in the draft order. He's like, man, he thinks I'm going to mess this up, doesn't he? He does. He thinks I'm going to mess this up. This is like we're friends, but he doesn't respect me. Yikes.
Do you think that, so it's weird, right? The way that these coaching staffs move, like when Saleh goes, all of his guys go. And it's the same thing with Kyle. Like it's that sort of like brotherhood. It almost feels like frat brothers.
Yes.
When you get into a fraternity so someone can give you a job later on down the line.
Yes,
it feels
absolutely.
like that. It definitely feels like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that Saleh in any way let him know, bro, we're taking Zach, here's your favor, do your thing, I mean, it's again, tinfoil hat.
My best guess. No, I don't think he did. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a fair question to ask from Shanahan's perspective. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if he did ask the question, I think a fair answer, this was what? When was the Zach Wilson thing? Like 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, his pro day? Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. So that's like a cool 5 weeks before the draft. A fair answer to Shanahan would be like, I don't know yet. We haven't made up our mind yet.
Yeah.
Isn't that a fair answer? It's a lot of time left.
Yeah, I mean, it should be. I mean, there's plenty of teams that say that, like, we're not going to the pro day because we're just going to be stuck making our draft decisions in our draft room. So, I mean, it's
plenty of time left, Kyle. I wish I could tell you. I mean, he could say it's Joe Douglas's call. He hasn't made up his mind yet. Plenty of time left. I don't know. I don't think that the Niners and Jets are like collaborating. I don't think it's like Def Jam South and Def Jam. I just don't see it like that. I think they're competitive.
No, so you don't think it's Rockefeller and Def Jam or Rough Riders?
No, I don't. They're competitors. They're competitors. And at 2 and 3, I mean, if one team knew who the other team was taking, the other team didn't know, that would be ammunition. That would be bad. You can't have – they would both have to know. You'd have to right? You can't have, hey, let me give you some information and you're not going to tell me anything back? Really? Why? Really? I don't think you could do that. I mean, if I were the owner of the Jets and I found out that the first thing my new head coach did was just do the Niners a solid for free, why? Don't do that.
I agree, and that's your first order of business with your with the team.
Yeah, I don't think so. I just doesn't. I mean, I understand people that think it could have happened and it's plausible, but my best guess is that it absolutely did not happen, and that Robert Saleh is as flabbergasted and intrigued as the rest of us are, and as in the dark as the rest of us are. That's my best guess.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. I just stay. What is it? Come for the 49ers analysis. Stay for the rap references. The Def Jam and Def Jam South one that really threw me off.
Did that even?
No, it didn't throw me off. It worked. No, it worked. It worked. I got it.
Okay. All right. 2 more. No quarterback. This is wide receiver. We know Kyle Shanahan is going to have a wide receiver crush. He drafts one every year, sometimes 2, often early. Your best guess, who do you think is going to be? Who should
Elijah Moore,
I agree.
Amari Rodgers.
Amari Rodgers.
So Amari Rodgers from Clemson, when we were in Mobile, he's running jet sweeps like Debo, literally looked like Debo. Okay. And, running routes where he was getting himself open. He's probably going to be available later on, but that feels so much like a Shanahan pick, like a guy who get open in the short space, get him the ball, and boom, and he's going to make things happen with the ball in his hands. So
5'10", 210. He's even built like Debo, really.
Same thing. He had the ball in his hands, and I'm like, is that Debo again? Like, is he back? It's the same thing.
Feels like a running back. Yeah, okay.
Right. So that's the first thing that I noticed right off the bat when I was in Mobile. I was like, okay, that feels like a Shanahan receiver right there. I liked him. There's some concerns that maybe during games, he's more of a practice player than he is in games. Like he caught up 50-50 ball in the end zone or something like that, I think in Mobile. And that was like the first time that you really saw him go get it. But in practice, he gets those all the time. So, I mean,
how did he do in the one-on-ones?
He was great. I mean, nobody could guard him.
That's all I care about.
Yeah. Like he was literally creating 6-7 yards of space. And again, those one-on-ones are tailored to have them win. The cornerback's always at a disadvantage because they have no idea and no help or anything like that. But
that doesn't mean the wide receivers always win. And if they don't win, you shouldn't draft them. And that's the thing when the Niners took AJ Jenkins. When they brought him into training camp and he couldn't win on one-on-ones, I was like,
What did you do?
What did you do, Trent? What were you? What did you? Anyway,
he must have tore his ACL one time, in his career, so you had to pick him. No, but honestly, he was leaving. He was leaving people 5-6 yards in the dust, and it was evident every time that he was out there. So, Amari Rodgers, Elijah Moore, I'm starting to really come along to. But like I said, we got to find a way to get Rashad Bateman to slip all the way down to 43 somehow.
What do we need to know about Bateman? I haven't seen him yet.
So Bateman really profiles more like remember last year. Justin Jefferson, that's going to be my, and I'm not talking about him being like Justin Jefferson. What I'm talking about is that when we look back at this draft, we're going to see a bunch of receivers taken ahead of him, and you're going to wonder the same things about why did Justin Jefferson slide as far as he did? Why did so many people pass on him? That's what I think he's going to be in this league. Fast, quick, intermediate, all that stuff. He does it all. The kid's a baller, man, and I think that it's just because he went to Minnesota, he's not going to get that sort of press. So Rashad Bateman, there could be a discussion to be had later on down the line of him probably being the best receiver out of all these guys. Because remember, it's very rarely the number one guy, right? Last year it was what? Judy and Lamb. And Ruggs. And no.
And then it was Jefferson. Yeah.
Right. And then, it was J. Jeff. So that's the thing. And then, even think about 2 years before that, JJ Arcega-Whiteside gets taken before DK Metcalf. And
that's why I'm always scared of taking wide receivers too high. It's like, the NFL never knows who the best wide receiver in a draft is. And it's so dependent on which quarterback they play with or which offense they're in, stuff like that.
Yep.
I mean, any guy who was going to get the privilege to play with Kirk Cousins was going to be at an obvious advantage. So, no, we're not taking shots at Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields today. Don't even think about it. I'm looking at you in the comment section right there. You in the comment section.
I'm not looking at the comments. I'm looking at you, Grant. I'm watching you.
All right, let's do the same thing with running back. A running back that we think Kyle would like in particular, and that is definitely a possibility for the Niners.
All right, get your pitchforks out, and make sure you crucify me for this because at 43, I understand. Oh, you can't take a running back here. You can't. Javonte Williams.
Ooh.
Javonte Williams, man. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Nick Chubb comp with the ball in his hands. Offers way more in the passing game than people believe. Big, huge guy. Again, if you're going to go into the season with just Mostert and Wilson, you're kind of asking for problems. One of them, if not both, make it
happened last year. So happened last year, yeah.
Javonte profiles as Nick Chubb, who can handle the ball 15, 16 times while giving you that flexibility with Mostert to take those home runs to the crib. And remember, you're not paying any of them. You're not going to be paying any of them large money, anything like that. I understand 43 is high for a running back. And I understand Kyle Shanahan only likes undrafted free agents, which is wrong.
I'm not saying that. No. I'm not saying that.
Not you. I'm just
saying.
You
drafted Tevin Coleman.
In general, yeah. So in general, Joe Williams was an undrafted free agent. He didn't pan out. He paid for Jerick McKinnon. He paid for Tevin Coleman. Yeah. He drafted Tevin Coleman. So stop telling me that this regime doesn't invest in running backs when it's everything to the opposite.
His dad's been a second-round pick on Clinton Portis. Kids. Yep.
So stop telling me that they don't ever draft anybody that high or they don't make an effort to get running back. So if Javonte Williams is on the board, that's one. Michael Carter would be a dream in the third round, who also went to North Carolina again.
See, that was the one I was going to say. It's funny that you say the other one from North Carolina. I love him too, but to me, Kyle always tends to like the smaller running backs. Mm-hmm. He likes big wide receivers and small running backs, and Michael Carter seems like that kind of like would be a scat back on most teams, but on the Niners, you can see Kyle Shanahan featuring him the way. It's like when I saw him, I was like, okay, that's who he wanted Jerick McKinnon to be. Right there. Yep. Like, this guy is the truth. This guy is really freaking good. I never really was super into Jerick McKinnon. I know he did well at the combine, but he was like a quarterback at Georgia Southern. He never really had like the natural vision and instincts to play that spot the way that Michael Carter does. That guy's the truth. I like him.
So the running joke in Mobile was the first person in front of Michael Carter missed.
Exactly.
Now it didn't matter. It didn't matter if the play ends up being a 1-yard gain or a 10-yard gain or anything like that. The first person in front of Michael Carter misses, and it's a rule. It's not the exception. Like, it's either taking your helmet and pushing it down or giving you a shake, and then you like he looks like he's covered in grease. Like, you try to grab him and he just slides out. The first person never tackled Michael Carter. So after the game, we got a chance. His family was the loudest in the entire stadium. And he has the touchdown in the Senior Bowl where he pushes the pile from the 5 all the way into the touchdown in for 6. After the game, we go and we're like, hey, we introduce ourselves. Hey, we're here, 49ers goal line, things like that. please get your son to a Kyle Shanahan system. And I was like, and watch 1,500 yards pile up pretty quickly. And his father was like, please. His father was super excited, and he was like, please. So yeah, I agree. It's either Javonte or it's Michael Carter.
Yes.
There's other guys down the line. I saw your streamer Croc. Chuba Hubbard.
He likes Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, that's a really, really good call. Honestly, it really is. And he could be had a little bit later. I just think that Javonte and Michael Carter's stock is going up. Demetric Felton is one more that you guys should be paying attention
to. Got it.
Yes. Yeah. So in the Senior Bowl before, Antonio Gibson went from a wide receiver to a running back. He went from a running back to a wide receiver in this Senior Bowl. Mm-hmm. Now the thing is he doesn't run regular routes as a running back. He looks like a wide receiver. Like he's that good. He was dusting all of his one-on-one. So those are the guys that I've got my eye on. I'm sure that Kyle has his eye on one of them, and I would not be surprised to see them draft a running back in this draft at all.
Now, people remember Clinton Portis. I don't know if you remember 2004, Mike Shanahan drafted Tatum Bell with the 41st pick. So the Niners have 43. They absolutely could take a running back if they feel there's something special.
I know you guys don't want to hear that, but
let me ask you. So I wasn't at the Senior Bowl. In terms of Michael Carter, for him to be worth that pick, and Javonte Williams too, they have to be serious receivers because we know they're good running backs. So how do they do in the one-on-ones?
So Javonte isn't as skilled as Michael Carter. Okay. And there were plays in the Senior Bowl where
they have different body types. They have
exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing that kind of leans me to Javonte is that he looks like he's built to take the beating. But Michael Carter is the shiftiest guy. And I'm trying to remember if he was on Mon's team or if he was on the other team because there was like one drive where literally all they were doing was like they would run orbit motion and then boom, hit him with a pass on the side and let him work. Like let him shake somebody and go.
Yeah.
So that's what Javonte can't do that he can do. He's much more shifty. Javonte's gonna run right through you. And he's a huge
so what
man.
You're saying is Javonte is what the Niners don't have. And what I'm saying is Michael Carter is what Kyle Shanahan is drawn to.
Yeah.
Even though it's like he'll take 1,000 of them.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Absolutely. Either one of those guys fit. It's just that they fit in different ways, but they're both a fit.
They're both ballers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Jason, I love this show. Thanks so much for doing it with me every week. I appreciate it, man. And thanks so much for everyone watching. We got a ton of donations today. Everyone was very generous. Thank you. Yeah. And they're still arguing about burgers, dude. That's the funniest thing. Everyone's like, Big Macs.
Oh, good. I'm glad that it's not about, don't say anything bad about Justin Fields. Don't say anything bad about my hair. Those are
Hold on, before I let you go, you were saying you don't know nothing about Jack in the Box. So was it White Castle out there? What is it?
Ooh.
It's just not really a fast food culture, right? It's a California thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. White Castle, if you want to expunge your insides, go for it, with White Castle. I don't know. I mean, what we have here is like McDonald's and all that other stuff. We don't have, like, you guys have centralized stuff. Like for us, it's Checkers. Other places, it's Rallies.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the same thing. It's
and you don't have Carl's Jr., it's Hardee's, right?
Nope. We don't have Carl's Jr. or Hardee's, I don't think. I think we just got a Carl's Jr. We just got Sonic.
You guys just have like pizza parlors and like
that's
stuff.
It. And
Italian food
and Chinese places. That
that's
are like
bomb though.
Yeah, no, but they're like teetering on like, okay, is this a health violation? But the food's really good. Like, what are you doing here?
Hey man, well thanks. Hey, I learned. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go think about Five Guys. I'll be back a little later with the roundtable. See you guys
later.